Welcome to Night Whisper, where every night we travel beyond the known world. Close your eyes, breathe slow, and let your mind drift into the calm unknown. Tonight, we bring you a story from the silent desert, a story about a light that was not from this world. They say the desert is silent after midnight, but that night, the silence spoke first. I saw a light, far away on the horizon. It did not move. It did not fade. It was just waiting. I told myself it was nothing. Maybe a tower or a plane. But deep down, I knew it was something else. Something alive. Something that knew I was there. The wind stopped for a moment, and everything felt still. The light blinked once, slow and soft, like it was breathing, like it had been waiting for me all along. Chapter 1, The Descent, the Sea. That morning was calm, too calm for the Atlantic. The water looked like glass, the horizon melting into the pale blue sky. For a moment, it felt peaceful, but everyone aboard the research vessel, Orpheus, knew that calm seas often hide strange things below. The mission report said it was a geological mapping expedition, just another deep-sea survey sponsored by a science foundation. But the crew knew that wasn't the full truth. 3 weeks ago, a sonar buoy off the Bermuda coast had picked up something impossible. A metal object buried 6 miles under the ocean, pulsing with steady, rhythmic signals. Not random noise, not geological echo. It was structured. It sounded like a heartbeat. Commander Ellis stood on deck, his eyes fixed on the water. He was a former Navy diver, a man who had seen enough strange things to stop asking why. But this felt different. He couldn't shake the feeling that they weren't the ones doing the searching this time. Beside him, Dr. Mara Keene double-checked her equipment. She was the mission's lead marine biologist, small in stature but steady as stone. Her hair was tied back, her face hidden behind the reflection of her visor. She had studied deep-sea ecosystems all her life, creatures that lived without light, bacteria that thrived near boiling vents, but nothing could explain the scans she had seen. The object on the seabed was round, smooth, and perfectly symmetrical. Nature didn't make circles like that. 5 minutes till dive, called a voice from the control cabin. Ellis nodded. He turned to the team of 5 divers, suited up beside the airlock. The metallic smell of oxygen tanks filled the air. Everyone moved with slow, practiced precision. No one joked. No one spoke. The silence said enough. "Stay tight. No solo drifting," Ellis ordered. "We go down, scan the structure, and come back. Simple in, simple out. Mara, look up. If it's really transmitting, we might lose signal deeper than expected." Ellis gave a faint smile. "Then we better be fast." The divers stepped into the airlock. The heavy door sealed behind them, and the room filled with sound. Rushing water and the hiss of pressure equalization. Then, one by one, they dropped into the endless blue. At first, it was light. Shafts of sun rippled through the water, catching bubbles and shimmering scales of fish. But within minutes, the light dimmed. The surface became a memory. The world turned blue, then dark blue, then black. Their suits glowed faintly from the wrist lamps. The water around them grew colder, thicker, heavier. The deeper they went, the more the ocean pressed in, as if it wanted to crush their curiosity before it reached the bottom. "Depths 200 meters, said Mara through the comm. "Copy," replied Ellis. "Stay vertical. Watch your O2. Something flickered ahead. At first, she thought it was plankton, reflecting the light, but the shapes moved differently. Slow, deliberate, like living sparks. Tiny orbs of pale green light drifted around them. When Mara reached out her hand, the orbs moved away, then reformed behind her. "Ellis, I'm getting movement down here," she said softly. "Fish, not like any I've seen." The lights thickened as they descended. The divers floated through glowing clouds that pulsed faintly as if responding to their presence. The water began to hum, a low vibration that felt more than heard. "Depth 500 meters, said the pilot topside. But the sonar readings on the Orpheus bridge were going haywire. The screen flickered between static and black. The signal from the divers lagged by several seconds. Down below, the hum grew stronger. The orbs of light faded, revealing a darker shape beneath them, massive, curved, metallic. Mara stopped moving. Her breath caught. "Ellis," she whispered. "Do you see that?" He turned, his lamp beam cutting across the darkness. There it was. The ocean floor was not sand or rock. It was metal, smooth, seamless, stretching beyond the limits of their lights, a silver plane, half buried under silt. Their compasses spun uselessly. The depth gauge blinked in error. The hum now had rhythm, like the pulse of a sleeping giant. "Scan it," Ellis said, steady but quiet. Mara aimed the sonar scanner. The signal bounced back almost instantly, too fast. The object wasn't hollow, but it wasn't solid either. Something inside it was resonating. Then, the hum stopped. "Total silence, Ellis," Mara said. The reading just... Before she could finish, a new sound filled the water. Deep, slow, like 1,000 distant drums beating together. The lights around them flared, swirling faster until they formed a spiral. The current dragged them downward. "Hold position," Ellis shouted. But the water itself seemed alive, tugging at their suits, pulling them toward a circular hatch forming beneath them. The silt lifted like smoke. A wide seam opened in the metal plane, revealing a glowing tunnel beneath. "Command, we have..." "Movement structure is opening," Ellis called through the cum, but all he got was static. "Ellis, my gauge is dropping," another diver said. "It's pulling me." Before he could finish, his light vanished into the opening below. Mara screamed. "He's gone. He's gone!" Ellis grabbed her arm. "We're getting him back." They kicked against the current, but it was no use. The pull was too strong. The hatch below flared with light. Not white, not yellow, but something strange, like the color of deep dreams. Then the current reversed. Everything went still again. Ellis looked down. The hatch had closed. The hum faded to silence. "Mara." "Rapport," he said. She was shaking. "He's gone. His beacon's gone." Ellis took a slow breath. "We're going back." Now, the team began their ascent. No one spoke. No one dared look down again. But halfway up, Mara saw something impossible. Far below them, through the fading darkness, the lights returned. This time in formation, lines of glowing dots moving upward, following them, matching their speed. "Ellis," she whispered, "we're not alone." He turned, saw the same thing, and his heart froze. The lights weren't chasing, they were scanning, moving like eyes. "Topside, this is Ellis," he called. "We have multiple unknowns." Ascending, the line cut to static. For the rest of the ascent, no one said a word. Only the sound of their own breathing filled their helmets. The water grew lighter again. The sun returned. When they surfaced, gasping and trembling, the Orpheus crew rushed to pull them aboard. But one diver was missing. Mara removed her helmet. "We lost him. He was right behind me." Then, the ocean took him. Ellis said nothing. He stared down into the water. The surface looked peaceful again, calm as glass, as if nothing had happened. Then, just before he turned away, a faint light flickered beneath the surface. One single pulse, like a signal answering back. Ellis whispered under his breath, "It's not just down there." Chapter 2, the signal the next morning. The sea was different. The surface still shimmered under the sun, but the air felt heavier, filled with quiet tension that the crew couldn't explain. The Orpheus floated on still water, its shadow trembling just slightly on the waves. Commander Ellis hadn't slept. He stood by the glass window in the control room, replaying the dive footage over and over again. The missing diver's camera feed ended in a flash of light, then pure black. The sonar logs showed a single repeating pulse right after 5 seconds apart, perfectly rhythmic. Dr. Marikine sat beside him, her eyes fixed on the monitor. "That pattern," she said softly. "It's not random. Look at the intervals." It's like something is trying to talk. Ellis didn't answer. He zoomed in on the audio waveform. Each pulse wasn't just a sound, it carried layers of frequency, like chords played in strange harmony. What if it's not a message? He muttered. What if it's a warning? Mara frowned. Or a call. The Orpheus crew was uneasy. Divers whispered about the one who never came back, about the lights that followed them. The engineers refused to check the gear alone. Some swore the ocean beneath them felt alive. By afternoon, the sea began to change again. The instruments on deck started picking up soft tremors beneath the hull, tiny vibrations that seemed to echo through the metal floor. Seismic activity? Asked the sonar tech. Mara shook her head. No tectonic lines here. That's coming from something else. The screen flickered. A new signal appeared, faint, rising, as if something deep below was powering up again. Ellis turned to the crew. Start recording. All channels. As the pulse grew stronger, the sound began to bleed through the air itself. It wasn't just heard, it was felt, like pressure against the chest. The ocean around the Orpheus shimmered, and for a split second, the water's surface glowed. Then the communications deck went dark. Backup power, now. Ellis barked. The emergency lights flickered on, bathing the cabin in red. The sonar screen came back alive, showing something massive rising from the trench. Contact depth, 8,000 meters, and closing fast. The technician said, voice trembling. Everyone leaned over the monitor. The shape was growing larger. Not a creature, not a submarine. The outline was perfect, geometric circular, like a wheel turning slowly through black water. It's coming up, Mara whispered. The crew rushed to the outer deck. The sea was unnaturally still, not a ripple, not a sound. Then the surface bulged, a dark, smooth structure pushed upward, breaking through the waves. Water cascaded off its edges like liquid silver. It wasn't metal in the normal sense. It looked alive, bending and flexing like it breathed. No bolts, no seams, only smooth curves and faint glowing lines that ran across its surface like veins. Mara stepped closer, eyes wide. It's responding to us. The signal drew it up. Ellis lifted his radio. Control, this is Orpheus. We have visual contact with an unknown object. Repeat. Unknown object surfaced from trench. Static. No response. The ocean fell silent again. The ship seemed to hold its breath. Then the glow brightened. The lines on the surface of the object began to shift, forming patterns, not random shapes, but symbols, ancient and mathematical at once. It's language, Mara said, but not human. The air vibrated again, and everyone felt it this time. The pulse moved through their bodies, like soundless thunder. Then came the voice. Not spoken, not external. Inside their heads, a low whisper, not in words, but in thoughts. Return what is not yours. Mara staggered back, clutching her helmet. Did you hear that? Every crew member looked terrified. Ellis stared at the glowing surface, his heart hammering. We didn't take anything, he said out loud, as if the ocean itself was listening. The light dimmed slightly. Then, another pulse came. Return what was taken. Ellis turned to Mara. We triggered it. That first dive, maybe we opened something before she could answer. A sharp alarm blared through the ship. Pressure spike, yelled the engineer. Something's pulling us. The ship jolted violently. Water erupted from beneath the hull, slamming the Orpheus sideways. People fell across the deck. Through the chaos, Mara looked out the window and gasped. The glowing object was moving, not upward, but sideways, sliding beneath the ship like a massive living current. The ocean around it spun, creating a vortex. Ellis grabbed the railing. Engines full. Reverse. The helmsman struggled with the controls, but the thrusters screamed uselessly. The ship wasn't moving by choice. It was being dragged. The glow from the object pulsed brighter. Beneath the surface, lights like eyes opened, dozens, hundreds, swirling in rings around the central core. "It's scanning us," Mara shouted. "It's inside our systems." The ship's monitors blinked with strange symbols, unreadable codes flashing in rhythmic patterns. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the pulse stopped. The ocean calmed. The glowing object sank back down slowly, disappearing beneath the waves. Silence returned. The crew stood frozen, drenched and shaking. Ellis exhaled. "Report." The sonar tech spoke quietly. "It's gone, Commander." "No readings, depth 0. Mara pressed her hand against the glass, staring into the dark water. "It wasn't attacking us," she said. "It was showing us." Ellis turned. "Showing us? What?" She looked at him, eyes full of confusion and fear. "That it's not from here." They both fell silent. Around them, the Orpheus creaked softly as waves brushed its hull. Later that night, the crew gathered in the mess hall. No one touched their food. The lights flickered now and then, as if the ship's circuit still hummed with leftover energy from the encounter. Mara sat alone at the corner table, flipping through a tablet. The last sonar scans before blackout showed something strange. A hollow structure deep below the object's position, bigger than anything ever mapped. She turned the screen toward Ellis. "Look. That's not a crater. That's a doorway." He leaned closer. The formation was symmetrical, almost perfect an entryway, leading deeper into the trench. "If we go back down there," he said slowly, "we might not come back." Mara's eyes glowed faintly in the dim light. "But we'll know what's calling us." Ellis exhaled, rubbing his forehead. He had been in combat, in storms, in wrecks that should have killed him, but none of it felt like this. This wasn't danger from the sea. This was something older, something that had been waiting. He looked out the window. The ocean was black again, but deep below. Just for a second, he thought he saw it. That same pulse, beating once, like a heart still alive. He turned back to Mara. "Tomorrow," he said, "we go back." And outside, beneath miles of water, the unseen structure stirred again, as if it heard him. Chapter 3. The second descent. Dawn broke over the Atlantic like a whisper. A faint orange glow spilled over the surface of the sea, turning the waves into shifting lines of fire. But on the deck of the Orpheus, there was no warmth in that light. The crew moved quietly, avoiding each other's eyes. The memory of the glowing object from yesterday was still burned into their minds. Commander Ellis stood beside the rail, holding his coffee, but not drinking it. He stared down at the reflection of the rising sun and thought about what they had seen, that thing moving beneath them, the voice that had echoed in his head. He didn't believe in ghosts, or gods, or myths. But after yesterday, belief wasn't part of it anymore. He had seen something alive down there, something that was watching them. Dr. Marikine walked up beside him, her dive gear strapped and ready. "We're not waiting for authorization?" she asked. Ellis didn't look at her. "We both know Command won't approve another dive, not after what happened. So we're going alone." He nodded. "We record everything. If something happens again, at least the data gets out." Mara looked toward the horizon. "I'm not sure data's what it wants." The two divers suited up in silence. The rest of the crew didn't try to stop them, but no one offered to join either. Everyone stayed away from the airlock, as if the water itself had become cursed. Before descending, Mara turned to the control cabin. "If you lose our signal again, keep the sonar running. It responds to sound." The door sealed behind them, and a moment later, they slipped into the water. The descent began. The light faded. The world went quiet again. At 100 meters, all color disappeared. Only the faint beams from their lamps remained. The water was perfectly still, unnaturally still, as though the sea were holding its breath. "Depth 150 meters, Ellis said. "Copy," Mara replied. "I'm picking up the same interference pattern. The signal's back." Ellis checked his wrist console. The hum was faint, but steady. The same rhythm as before, slow and deliberate. "Keep tracking it," he said. At 400 meters, the lights returned small green spheres drifting through the water. But this time they didn't scatter. They followed. "Ellis," Mara whispered. "They're surrounding us." He turned slowly. Dozens of lights circled them, moving in spirals. The pattern pulsed with the same rhythm as the signal. It wasn't random. It was intelligent. Then, the beam from Mara's wrist light caught something below. A silver shape glimmered in the distance. The same smooth surface they had seen before. The metallic plane stretched outward into blackness, broken by a single dark circle, the hatch. "It's open again," she said softly. Ellis's breath echoed in his helmet. "We're going in." They hovered above the opening. The faint glow from within pulsed like breathing. The current pulled gently downward, as if inviting them. "Ellis," Mara said, "you saw what happened last time." "I know," he replied. "That's why I have to see what's inside." She hesitated, then followed him down. As they entered the opening, everything changed. The water grew warmer, almost electric. The walls of the tunnel shimmered like liquid metal, bending and shifting with every movement. Their instruments went dark. No readings, no depth, no temperature. "Ellis, my suit's dead," Mara said. "Stay close," he said. "We'll find a way back up." The tunnel opened into a vast chamber, larger than any natural cave. The walls glowed faintly blue, covered in strange patterns that seemed to move like waves of light. At the center of the chamber floated something that defied explanation, a structure suspended in the water, rotating slowly. It looked like a sphere, fractured and incomplete, as if pieces were missing. Around it drifted fragments of metal, rocks, and something else, shapes that looked like remains of ships. "Ellis," Mara whispered. That's a graveyard." He looked around and saw it too. Twisted parts of submarines, old propellers, holes torn open. But none of them looked cool. They were clean, untouched by rust, as though time had stopped here. Then the hum changed. It grew louder, rising in pitch, until the walls of the chamber pulsed with light. "Ellis, it's reacting to us," Mara said. He raised his lamp toward the central sphere. As the light touched it, the surface rippled and began to open like petals of a flower. Inside was something glowing. Not machinery, not light, but movement. Like liquid energy twisting in slow patterns. Mara drifted closer, mesmerized. "It's beautiful," she whispered. Ellis reached out. "Don't!" Before he could stop her, she extended her glove toward the light. The moment she touched it, the entire chamber erupted in motion. The current surged, spinning them around. The fragments of metal began to rise, swirling around the core like a storm. "Mara, back away." "I can't. It's pulling me." The light wrapped around her hand like smoke. Her suit sensors went wild, flashing red. The hum now sounded like a heartbeat in pain. Ellis grabbed her by the arm and pulled hard. The force threw them both backward. The light snapped and recoiled like a whip. For a moment, everything went still again. Then a voice echoed inside both their minds. Not words, but emotion. Anger. Fear. Warning. You were not chosen. The light collapsed inward, and the chamber darkened. The current reversed, dragging them toward the tunnel. "Ellis, it's expelling us," Mara shouted. "Then let's not argue." They kicked upward, fighting the pull. The walls of the tunnel flickered as they rose. The hum turned to a low growl that vibrated through their bones. At last, they broke through the hatch and out into open water. The lights that had followed them were gone. Everything was black again. "Surface," Ellis gasped. Now, they ascended fast, lungs burning. The water grew colder again, emptier. Then, through the darkness, they saw a faint beam rising from the trench below, like a pillar of light reaching for the surface. It wasn't chasing them. It was signaling. When they finally broke through the surface, the sky had turned gray. The Orpheus was a shadow in the mist above them. They were pulled aboard by trembling hands. The crew stared at them like they had risen from a grave. Mara collapsed to her knees, her suit steaming. Her right glove was burned through, her skin glowing faintly beneath it. Not with blood, but with soft blue veins of light. Ellis knelt beside her. "Mara, what is that?" She looked at her hand, shaking. "It touched me. It's inside me." Ellis turned toward the horizon. The sea had gone still again, but in the distance, a faint line of light shimmered beneath the surface, stretching far beyond sight. He whispered, more to himself than to anyone. "It's awake now." Chapter 4, The Awakening. The ocean was calm again, but something felt wrong. The sky hung low and heavy over the Orpheus, painted in shades of dull silver. No wind, no waves, just the endless stillness that always came before a storm. Inside the ship, the air smelled faintly metallic. The lights flickered now and then, even though the generators were stable. Every sound carried a strange echo, as if the walls themselves were listening. Dr. Mara Keen sat in the medbay, staring at her hand. The faint blue veins still glowed beneath her skin, pulsing in slow rhythm with her heartbeat. Every few seconds, she felt a vibration in her palm, a hum, soft and deep, like a signal only she could hear. The medic waved a scanner across her arm, frowning. No infection. No radiation burns. "Your vitals are normal. Except what?" He hesitated. "Your neural activity, it's elevated. Way beyond baseline. It's like your brain's picking up something external." Mara closed her eyes. She could hear it now more clearly, a distant sound, faint and rhythmic, like a heartbeat, but not hers. "Can you hear that?" she asked quietly. The medic shook his head. "Hear what?" She didn't answer. Outside, in the control room, Commander Ellis reviewed the dive footage again and again. The moment Mara had touched that light, the surge, the voice, the signal, he could still feel it in his bones. "Commander," the technician said. "You might want to see this." He turned. On the sonar screen, faint signals were appearing. Docents of TEM forming a circular pattern around the Orpheus. "Contacts?" he asked. "No solid forms. Just echoes. They're moving, though slowly." Ellis leaned closer. The echoes pulsed in perfect synchrony, like a heartbeat spreading outward from the trench. "Get the engines running," he ordered. "I want us moving north. Full speed." The helmsman nodded and pushed the throttle. The ship's engines rumbled, but only for a few seconds, then died. "What the hell? Power drop!" the engineer shouted. "Engines offline!" Ellis slammed a hand on the console. Switch to auxiliary, but before anyone could move, the lights dimmed. Every monitor on the bridge went black, except one, the central sonar screen, which now displayed a single glowing ring expanding outward again and again, like ripples in water. And from somewhere deep below, the hum returned. The sound vibrated through the hull, rattling every bolt, shaking every panel. The crew covered their ears, but it wasn't sound they were hearing. It was inside their heads. Then Mara's voice echoed through the comm channel. "Ellis, it's calling." He turned toward the medbay camera feed. Mara stood in the doorway, her eyes glowing faintly blue. "What are you talking about?" he said. "The pulse. It's not random. It's communication. I can hear it clearly now. It's speaking in images, feelings. It's trying to connect. Mara, whatever that thing did to you, it's not..." She shook her head. "It's showing me what it wants. It's been asleep for centuries. It's not human, Ellis. It's ancient." The floor trembled. The hull groaned outside the windows. The ocean began to glow, soft lines of light moving through the water like veins of energy spreading outward from below. "Commander," the sonotech said, voice breaking. "The object's moving again." "No, wait, there's more than one." Ellis leaned over the screen. 5 new signals had appeared, forming a ring around their position. Each one pulsed in rhythm with the hum. "What do they want?" he muttered. Mara's voice came again. quiet and distant. They're not attacking us. They're waking up. The lights on the ship flickered violently. Sparks rained from the ceiling. The crew ran for the power controls, but nothing worked. The sea outside erupted with bursts of blue light. Then, without warning, the Orpheus lurched upward, lifted by something massive beneath it. The whole ship tilted, throwing people across the deck. Alice grabbed the railing. "Everyone, hold on!" The glow outside intensified until the world turned into liquid light. The ship floated for a moment, completely suspended, as if gravity had been erased. And then silence. Everything stopped. The lights dimmed. The vibration faded. The ship hung still in the middle of a glowing sea. Mara stumbled onto the bridge, clutching her hand. The glow beneath her skin had spread to her arm, branching like rivers of light. "Ellis," she whispered, "they're trying to show us something." Before he could answer, the front windows of the control deck darkened, not from shadow, but from projection. A faint image began to form on the glass. A swirl of stars, planets, and then an ocean. But not Earth's. "What is this?" "It's a memory," Mara said. Her voice trembled. "They came here long ago. Their ships crashed beneath the ocean. They were trying to hide from something." Ellis stared at her. "Hide? From what?" She shook her head. "I don't know." But whatever it was, it followed them. The image flickered. The stars turned red. A dark shape appeared behind the planets. Something enormous, spreading like smoke, devouring everything in its path. The projection vanished. The lights returned to normal. Ellis took a step back. "You're saying there's more of them down there?" Mara looked out the window, her face pale. "No, Ellis. I think there's more of what they were running from." A long silence filled the control room. The sea outside was calm again, almost peaceful. But now, everyone on board felt it, the weight of something vast and unseen below. Ellis turned to the crew. "All right, we get our data, fix the engines, and get out of here. Whatever that thing is, we're not staying above it." But even as he said it, the lights flickered again, just once, and the sonar pinged. A single, sharp echo. This time, it didn't come from below. It came from above. Ellis looked up instinctively. Through the glass dome, high in the mist, a shape drifted across the clouds. Circular, metallic, and completely silent. Mara whispered, "It's not just underwater anymore." Chapter 5. The sky responds. The ocean surface had gone mirror still. No wind, no sound, only the slow, distant hum that now seemed to breathe with them. Commander Ellis stood on the bridge, staring up through the glass dome. The object in the clouds was still there, a smooth, metallic circle gliding silently above the mist. It had no lights, no wings, and no visible propulsion. It simply hovered, almost like it was watching them. Mara joined him, her skin still faintly glowing blue beneath her sleeves. "It's reacting," she said softly. "Whatever woke up down there is linked to whatever's above us now." Ellis looked at her, his voice low. "You telling me that thing in the sky and what S in the trench are connected?" "They're the same Cigna," she replied. "The frequency it's not just sound anymore. It's spreading through light, water, and atmosphere." The ship's radio crackled to life. "Commander, I'm getting strange interference," the technician said. "Every channel's filling with static, except one. It's transmitting something rhythmic." "Play it," Alice ordered. A low, pulsing tone filled the bridge. It was the same sound they'd been hearing through the hull, only now it carried faint patterns, not random, not noise, but structured like a code. Mara closed her eyes. Her pulse quickened. "It's a message." Ellis frowned. "Can you translate it?" "Not yet," she said, "but it's calling something. It's not calling us this time." The air outside began to shimmer. Thin strands of light appeared across the water, swirling slowly in circular patterns that stretched 4 miles. The crew ran to the windows. "It looks like the ocean's glowing," one of them said. Then the entire horizon erupted in light. Waves of blue fire rippled across the surface, forming symbols, enormous shapes that burned beneath the sea like constellations made of energy. Ellis shouted, "Get me drone eyes on that!" Two reconnaissance drones launched from the deck, their rotors slicing the air. As they rose, their camera feeds displayed the view, glowing formations covering hundreds of square miles. But then, both screens blinked and went black. "What happened?" Ellis asked. "Signal loss," the technician said. "They just vanished," Mara whispered. "They didn't vanish. They were absorbed." The temperature dropped suddenly. Frost formed along the windows. The crew's breath turned to fog. From the clouds above, the metallic disk began to shift. It turned slowly, aligning itself with the glowing ocean below. Lines of blue light traced across its surface, matching the same pattern beneath the water. "It's sinking," Mara said. "The sky and the sea are becoming one system, like two halves of a machine." Ellis clenched his fists. "Then we shut it down. Whatever this is, we're cutting the connection." He turned to the engineer. "Prepare the EMP charge." The engineer hesitated. "Sir, if we trigger an electromagnetic pulse at this range, we'll fry everything on board: navigation, life support, all of it." Ellis didn't blink. "Do it anyway." The crew rushed to the lower decks. The sound of clanging metal echoed through the corridors. Sparks flew as they prepared the small cylindrical charge, their last line of defense. Mara followed Ellis down the hall. "You can't just destroy it," she said. "We don't even understand what it is yet." "I don't care," he replied. "Every time humanity tries to understand, something dies." She grabbed his arm. "This isn't an invasion, Ellis. It's communication. If you destroy that link, you might kill whatever's left of their world, and maybe ours." He stopped. "Their world?" Mara took a breath. "The visions I saw, they weren't dreams. They were memories. Those beings didn't come here to conquer. They came here to hide, and the thing they were hiding from, it found them." Ellis's expression hardened. "You saw that thing, the dark cloud that devoured stars. If it followed them here, then it's a threat. I can't risk it." Before Mara could argue, a deep rumble shook the floor. The ship's alarms wailed. The sonar lit up again. Hundreds of signals now, all moving upward from the trench. "They're rising," someone shouted. Ellis ran back to the bridge. "Engines on full. Get us out of here." The helmsman hit the controls, but the ship didn't move. The sea beneath them wasn't water anymore. It was thick and luminous, like liquid glass. The Orpheus was stuck, suspended in glowing energy. Outside, shapes began to form, not mechanical, not biological, but something in between. Giant translucent figures rose from the depths, each one glowing with the same inner light that pulsed beneath Mara's skin. The crew stared, frozen in awe. Mara stepped forward, pressing a hand against the glass. "They're not attacking. They're watching." The largest of the shapes moved closer, its face, if it could be called, that resembled a mask of shifting light. When it opened what looked like eyes, every light on the ship flickered in response. Ellis whispered, "What are they?" Mara didn't answer. She could feel their thoughts, like whispers across her mind. They were searching. They were remembering. Then, from the sky above, the metallic disk emitted a piercing beam of light. It struck the ocean, splitting the glowing patterns into chaos. The beings roared, not in anger, but in pain. Their bodies flickered violently, and the hum became a scream that shook the sea itself. Ellis shouted, "Now! Trigger the EMP!" The engineer hit the switch. A pulse of white light exploded from the ship, spreading in a perfect sphere. Every system on board shut down instantly. The glowing patterns vanished. The sea turned dark. The sky went black. For several seconds, there was nothing, only silence. Then the emergency lights flickered back to life. The hum was gone. The ship floated still on calm, normal water. Ellis exhaled, gripping the console. It's over. But Mara was staring out the window, her eyes wide with horror. Ellis, she whispered. You didn't stop it. You woke it up. The clouds above twisted violently. The metallic disc split open, revealing a dark void inside. Not a machine, but a gateway. A swirling storm of light and shadow poured downward, connecting sea to sky like a column of living energy. The Orpheus rocked violently as lightning burst across the horizon. The sea boiled. The air crackled with static. Mara screamed over the chaos. It's here, the thing they were running from. It's here. Ellis held the railing as debris flew across the deck. Everyone below deck. Nah. The crew scrambled. Waves crashed over the bow. The ship tilted dangerously. But through the storm, one sound remained, a slow, rhythmic pulse, like a heartbeat, echoing from deep within the trench. The ocean wasn't done yet. Chapter 6. The deep returns. The storm raged above the Orpheus. Lightning tore through the sky, and the sea rose in walls that struck the ship from all sides. Alarms wailed across the decks, but the radio was dead. The crew shouted orders no one could hear. Down below, the world had turned black. The glowing trench had gone silent, yet something massive was stirring in the deep. Commander Ellis gripped the railing, water running down his face. Hay cooled fail it. A vibration beneath the ship, like something ancient was moving. Hold position, he yelled, though his voice was swallowed by the roar of wind and thunder. Mara was on the floor, clutching her head. The hum she used to hear as a faint echo was now inside her skull. Louder, faster, like a heartbeat that wasn't hers. Her veins shimmered faintly blue again. It's not the storm, she gasped. It's coming from below us. The deck lights flickered once more. Then the sea split open. A beam of light shot upward from the depths, a column so bright it turned the clouds white. Within that light, shapes moved, twisting and reforming. One of the crew screamed, "It's alive!" From the center of the glowing vortex, something enormous began to rise. Not a ship, not a creature. Both. Its body was half metal, half translucent tissue. Plates of silver merged with glowing organs that pulsed with energy. Its eyes, if they could be called that, opened to spheres of blinding light staring straight at the Orpheus. The ship trembled under a shockwave. Steel groaned and split. The creature released a low, rolling sound that made the air itself vibrate. Ellis steadied himself, shouting to the engineer, "Engines full reverse." "They're offline," came the reply. The sea around the ship lifted like a hand, pushing the Orpheus backward. The creature's light dimmed, and the air pressure dropped. Then, without warning, every metal object on the ship began to rattle. Helmets, tools, weapons, even the bolts in the floor. Mara looked up, eyes wide. It's manipulating the magnetic field. The compass spun wildly, and the steel beams along the walls began to bend. Sparks fell from the ceiling. Ellis grabbed the emergency console. "Get me power to the aft thrusters." The engineer shook his head. "Nothing's responding. It's controlling everything electrical." Then, through the storm, a voice spoke, not through speakers, but inside their minds. It was deep, layered, like thousands of whispers at once. "You have woken the gate." Mara froze. The voice wasn't human. It wasn't even alive in the way they understood. She whispered back, without knowing how, "Who are you?" "The last of the keepers," it replied. "We buried it beneath your oceans to keep it from finding us. Now you have freed it." "The dark cloud," she said. "The thing from your memories. It devours stars," the voice said. "It follows light. The signal you released has called it here." Ellis looked around, unable to hear the words, but sensing the dread in Mara's face. "What is it saying?" She turned to him. "We didn't just wake something up. We towed something out there where to find us. The clouds above cracked open again, but this time the light wasn't blue. It was black. A spiraling mass of shadow began to pour through the sky, darker than night, absorbing the lightning around it. The creature in the water roared, the sound shaking the ship apart. Its body flared bright, and its form began to change, splitting into several smaller orbs of light that shot back into the depths, fleeing the shadow pouring down from the clouds. Mara gripped the railing as the ship tilted. "They're running," she shouted. "It's coming." The black storm expanded like ink in water. Inside it, faint streaks of red glowed, like eyes opening in the dark. The wind howled, pulling the ship toward the center of the vortex. Ellis fought his way to the helm. "We need to cut free from the trench currents. Deploy stabilizers. Manual only," the crewman yelled. Ellis pulled the lever. Himself, with a screech, the stabilizer fins extended, anchoring into the seafloor. The ship stopped drifting, but the storm kept growing. The water around the Orpheus began to boil. Bubbles of steam rose as the sea temperature spiked. Mara's skin glowed brighter, reacting to the energy. "It's feeding off the signal," she shouted. Ellis turned to her. "Can you stop it?" "I don't know," she said, "but if I can sync with the frequency, maybe I can draw it back down." "Seal the gate." Ellis hesitated. "You might die." She looked at him calmly. "So will everyone else if I don't." Without waiting for permission, Mara climbed to the upper deck. The wind ripped at her suit, and the rain felt like needles. She closed her eyes, focusing on the hum inside her head. The frequency pulsed faster, aligning with her heartbeat. The ocean responded. Blue light spread from the ship's hull into the waves, forming spirals that reached down into the trench. The dark storm hesitated, its motion slowing. The voice returned inside her mind. "You carry our echo. Use it." Mara spread her arms and let the light from her veins flow outward. It connected with the ocean below and the sky above. For a moment, everything became still, sea stormed and air frozen in a single heartbeat of silence. Then the black mass screamed. The sound shattered glass across the ship. Bolts tore loose. Lightning struck the water in violent chains. Ellis grabbed the intercom. "Dead." He shouted over the storm. "Mara, stop! You'll kill yourself." But Mara didn't hear him. The glow around her grew brighter, her silhouette fading into white. The storm began to collapse inward, the black cloud folding into itself as if being pulled back through an invisible hole. The sky tore open one last time, and then everything went dark. When the light returned, the sea was calm. The stars were visible again. The Orpheus drifted silently on a smooth ocean. Ellis stumbled onto the deck. Mara. She lay near the railing, unconscious but breathing. Her skin no longer glowed, though faint blue veins still shimmered beneath the surface. He knelt beside her. "You did it," he whispered, but when he looked toward the horizon, his chest tightened. The clouds were forming again, this time farther away, near the edge of the world. And from deep below, the sonar came alive once more. A single pulse, then another. The gate wasn't gone, it had just moved. Chapter 7. The abyss opens. The sun rose pale and silent after the storm, but no one on the Orpheus felt relief. The ocean was too calm, unnaturally still, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Mara sat near the railing, weak but awake. Her skin no longer glowed, yet she could still feel faint vibrations deep within her chest. It was like a heartbeat that didn't belong to her. Commander Ellis walked over, scanning the horizon. The clouds that had formed during the night were now gone, but the sonar told a different story. "Still getting a signal?" he asked the technician. The man nodded slowly. "Yes, Seer, same frequency as before, but moving east fast." Ellis looked down at Mara. "Whatever that gate is, it's not done." Mara's eyes drifted to the sea. "No, it's shifting. It's opening somewhere else." The captain gave the order to follow the signal. The engines roared to life, and the Orpheus cut through the smooth water. Hours passed with no wind, no waves, only the faint hum beneath them growing stronger. Then, near dusk, They reached it, a patch of sea that looked darker than the rest. Not from shadow, but depth. The sonar couldn't measure it. Every reading came back blank. Ellis frowned. It's like the ocean floor just disappeared. The technician adjusted the sensors. Sir, there's something massive down there. Hundreds of meters across. Looks like a structure. Mara's voice was barely a whisper. The city. Ellis turned. What city? When the beings fled here, she said, they built sanctuaries beneath the water. Places where they could hide from the darkness. I saw it in their memories. He hesitated. You're saying there's a city under us? She nodded. Not made of stone, made of light. The crew prepared for another dive. This time, every movement felt heavier. They had seen what the deep could do, but curiosity was stronger than fear. The submersible, Nereid, was lowered into the water. Ellis, Mara, and 2 others climbed inside. The hatch sealed with a hiss, and the vessel began its descent. Meters turned to hundreds. The sunlight faded, replaced by cold darkness. The pressure built around them like invisible hands. Then, out of nowhere, a faint glow appeared, a soft blue shimmer rising from the depths. As they descended further, the light grew brighter until it filled the windows completely. When their eyes adjusted, the sight stole their breath. A vast city stretched across the seabed, towers of glass and metal glowing from within. Bridges made of translucent energy, connecting domes that pulsed like living hearts. The architecture was not human, yet it carried a strange grace, as if built by something that understood both art and technology, Mara whispered. This is where they lived, where they waited. Ellis stared, speechless. How is it still standing? Because it's not a city anymore, she said. It's a memory, a projection. The Nereid glided between the glowing towers. The scanners picked up no life signs, yet the lights flickered as they passed, as if reacting to their presence. One of the crewmen muttered, "It feels like it's watching us." Mara closed her eyes. It is. The city is alive, or what's left of it. At the heart of the city stood a massive dome, half buried in silt. From within, a pulse of light throbbed rhythmically, the same pattern as the signal they'd been chasing. Ellis guided the sub toward it. That's the source, he said. As they approached, the lights along the dome brightened. Symbols appeared across its surface. Long lines of glowing script that rearranged themselves as if trying to communicate. Mara reached out, touching the glass of the viewport. The markings responded instantly, shifting to form a single circular pattern that matched the glowing mark on her wrist. It knows me, she whispered. The dome split open. A path of light appeared, leading deep inside. The submersible drifted forward automatically, drawn as if by gravity. Inside, the walls were covered in crystalline structures, each one reflecting ghostly images. Beings made of light, standing among stars, fleeing through storms of darkness. Ellis watched the projections. This must be what happened to them, Mara nodded. Their world was consumed. They came here to build a new gate, a safe passage between realities. But when it failed, they buried it. Then why is it opening again? She looked at him, her eyes full of fear, because the dark found another way in. The Nereid reached the center of the dome. A glowing sphere floated there, suspended in midwater, humming with a low, steady rhythm. It was beautiful and terrifying at once. Ellis felt a strange pull toward it, a gravity of the mind. His thoughts blurred, his heartbeat sinking to the pulse. Mara grabbed his arm. Don't look at it too long. It's not light, it's memory. The sphere flared brighter, and for a split second, the crew saw flashes, images of Earth from orbit, a great shadow spreading across the oceans, and a voice whispering words that weren't human. We're not the first. The glow faded. The hum quieted. Mara looked around. It's shutting down. But then, all at once, the floor beneath them began to tremble. Cracks of light appeared across the dome. The city lights flickered wildly. Ellis shouted, "We have to get out now." The Nereid turned and surged upward. Behind them, the great dome collapsed inward, sending clouds of glowing debris into the water. The entire city began to crumble as though being erased from existence. Through the falling lights, Mara saw shapes moving, dozens of glowing beings, rising from the ruins like souls escaping a grave. "They're leaving," she whispered. "The city's dying." The sub raced toward the surface, the pressure alarms screaming. The crew clung to their seats as the water turned bright around them. Then, silence. They broke through the surface into the cold night air. The sea was black again, the stars burning faint above. Ellis gasped for breath, staring at the horizon. "Did we stop it?" Huskit. Mara shook her head slowly. "No, we just opened the next door." Far away, a single line of light rose from the sea, reaching into the clouds, and the hum began again. Chapter 8, The Awakening Below the Sky, turned the color of steel that night. The crew of the Orpheus watched in stunned silence as the beam of light pierced the clouds, pulsing like a living artery between sea and sky. It wasn't just illumination, it was alive, breathing energy that made the ocean tremble. Ellis ordered all systems offline, afraid that even a spark could attract it. But the ship's lights flickered on their own. The controls pulsed beneath his hands, as if the vessel itself were responding to something unseen. Mara stood at the bow, staring into the horizon. Her voice was soft, distant. "It's not just a gate anymore. It's awake." "What do you mean awake?" "Ellis demanded." The city was never meant to open alone. It needed a bridge, a living connection between the two worlds. When we entered, it found what it needed. Ellis's eyes narrowed. "You." She didn't answer. The glowing mark on her wrist began to pulse again, in sync with the beam above. Below the ship, the ocean began to swirl slowly at first, then faster, forming a massive vortex. The water glowed faintly from beneath, and shapes began to move within it fast. Luminous outlines like whales made of light, circling upward. The crew gasped as the forms breached the surface. They weren't whales. They weren't anything known to science. Each was translucent, a shimmering mass of geometry and motion, their bodies flowing like water and crystal combined. And when they opened their eyes, if those orbs of light could be called ice, the crew felt something deep inside their skulls. A voice not heard, but felt. "You should not have opened the gate." Mara fell to her knees, clutching her head. "They're the keepers," she said through trembling lips. "Guardians of the passage." Ellis tried to communicate, shouting over the roaring wind. "We didn't mean to interfere. We're explorers." The beings' forms flickered. The air itself vibrated with their response. "Exploration is not permission. The balance must be restored." Suddenly, the water beneath the Orpheus erupted in light. The ship tilted violently, throwing crew members to the deck. A massive wave crashed against the hull as one of the luminous beings dove beneath the vessel, circling it with trails of golden energy. Ellis grabbed the railing. "Engine room, full reverse, get us clear." But the ensigns didn't respond. Every screen on the bridge now showed the same thing, a symbol, spinning endlessly, identical to the mark on Mara's wrist. Mara stood up, tears in her eyes. "They're not attacking us. They're binding us." Ellis turned to her, his voice low and angry. "Then make them stop." "I can't," she whispered. "They're not talking to me anymore. They're talking through me." Her body convulsed. The light from her wrist spread up her arm, across her neck, and into her eyes. She gasped, and when she spoke again, it was no longer her voice. "The threshold has been broken. The deep must reclaim its own." The beam in the sky widened, turning from white to gold. The sea boiled around the ship. Instruments shattered. The metal groaned like it was alive. Then, all at once, silence. The light vanished. The sea went still. The crew looked around, dazed. The sky was dark again, the stars visible, but something was different. There was no wind, no current, no sound. Ellis checked the compass. The needle spun aimlessly. The GPS showed blank coordinates. "We're not on the map anymore," he said, voice trembling. Mara collapsed, unconscious. The glow in her skin slowly faded, but not completely. Tiny golden veins still pulsed faintly beneath the surface. The crew tended to her, whispering in fear. None of them could explain what they'd seen. None dared to sleep. Hours passed, then the sonar came alive again. Beep! 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 One of the crewmen shouted. "Something's moving beneath us." Ellis leaned over the screen. The object was massive, hundreds of meters across, and it was rising fast. "Brace for impact," he yelled. The ocean exploded upward as a dark shape broke the surface. It wasn't a creature. It was a structure. A colossal ring, forged of black stone and glowing veins of energy, emerged from the water surrounding the Orpheus like a crown. Inside the ring, the water was perfectly calm, a mirror reflecting stars that weren't the same as the ones above. Mara stirred, her voice weak but clear. "The gate, it's fully formed now." Ellis's hands shook. "Where does it lead?" She looked at him with eyes that no longer looked entirely human. Not where. When. The crew stared as the mirror inside the ring began to shimmer, showing flashes of ancient oceans, cities beneath the waves, and strange skies with twin suns. Then, from the depths of the image, a shadow moved vast, winged, and unmistakably alive. Ellis whispered, "My God, it's coming through." The light around the ring brightened to blinding white. The Orpheus rocked violently as waves of force radiated outward. In that instant, Mara turned to Ellis, tears streaming down her glowing face. "It chose us for a reason. It needs witnesses." The shadow breached the mirror. The world shattered into light, then blackness. Chapter 9. Through the gate. When the light faded, there was only silence. No waves. No engine hum. Not even breath. For a moment, Ellis thought he was dead. Then the air returned, but it was different. Thicker. The kind of air that hums faintly, like it carries sound you can't quite hear. The Orpheus drifted on a calm sea that glowed from beneath, a dim turquoise light that seemed to move like a heartbeat. Ellis pushed himself up from the deck. The crew around him stood, dazed and silent. The sky above wasn't black anymore. It shimmered with bands of violet and green light, like the northern aurora, but lower, closer, alive. And the stars, they weren't the same. Some pulsed in slow rhythm, others moved. Report, Ellis called out, his voice rough. No answer came for a moment. Then Hayes, the navigator, stood slowly, eyes wide. "Captain, I don't think we're on Earth anymore." The sonar flickered again. Every reading it produced was wrong. The depth below the ship was infinite, literally infinitha data, looped without end. Mara sat near the bow, her eyes half open. The golden light still glowed faintly under her skin. She whispered, "We crossed over." Alice turned sharply. "Where did it take us?" Her voice was calm, like she'd known all along. The other side of the ocean, the one beneath ours. The crew looked over the edge. The water was so clear, it was like glass, but miles below, faint shadows moved, giant shapes, drifting slowly. Sometimes one would turn just enough that its surface caught the light, and you could see it wasn't made of flesh but metal and crystal machines that swam like living things. The Orpheus drifted toward a horizon that wasn't a line but a curve, bending upward like a dome of light. As they moved closer, they saw what lay beyond. A vast city beneath the water, towers of coral and shining stone, glowing with the same energy as Mara's veins. Hayes whispered, "It's beautiful." Mara shook her head. "It's dying." At that moment, the sea around them rippled. From the towers below, a beam of light shot upward, passing straight through the hull of the ship without resistance. It spread across the deck like mist. When it touched Mara, her body stiffened. She gasped, her eyes wide and glowing gold again. "They want me to see," she said in a voice that wasn't hers. The others backed away as her body rose slightly off the deck. Around her, the air shimmered with images, scenes from another time. A city thriving. voices singing, beings of light walking streets of crystal. Then, a rupture. A tear in the sky. The beings panicked, fleeing toward great domes beneath the sea. They built the gate. They tried to seal it, but something came through before they could. The image shifted again. The beings bound their knowledge into vessels of water, and like the keepers they had seen before to guard the threshold, the city sank deeper, hidden, waiting for the day the surface world would rediscover it. When the vision faded, Mara fell back to the deck, trembling. "It's a memory," she whispered. "This place is a memory made real. The ocean keeps it alive." Suddenly, alarms blared. The sonar screamed with interference. Something massive was rising from the deep beneath the city. Ellis shouted, "Power! The engines!" "Move us back!" The engines rumbled weakly, then died. The glowing sea around them began to boil. Towers cracked. Light turned red. From the depths, a dark shape emerged, a colossal shadow, easily larger than the city itself. Its eyes were twin suns of fire. The water bent around its form like gravity was its plaything. Hayes screamed, "What the hell is that?" Mara stood, barely able to stand. It's what they sealed away. The first one that crossed through. The reason they built the gate. The creature opened its maw, and the sound that came out was like the roar of a storm and the scream of the earth combined. The Orpheus shook violently. The sky dimmed as the auroras flickered. Ellis clung to the railing. "Weapons. Anything we have. Fire now." Missiles launched into the glowing sea, vanishing into the creature's shadow. Explosions lit up the water, but the being didn't even react. Instead, it turned toward the ship, and for a moment, Ellis swore it looked straight at him. Then the voice came not through the ears, but through the mind. "You brought the gate back to life. You opened what was meant to sleep." Mara clutched her head, screaming. It wants the energy it's feeding. The sea rose in violent spirals as if the entire world was being pulled downward. The creature's light pulsed faster, brighter, until the ocean began to split apart, revealing what lay below, a void, endless and black, swallowing everything. Ellis fought to reach Mara. "How do we stop it?" Her voice came weak, but certain. "We have to close the gate from this side." "Help!" She looked at the glowing veins on her arm. "Chose me to open it. Maybe it'll let me close it too." Before Ellis could answer, she broke free from his grasp and ran to the edge of the deck. The light beneath the water answered her. It rose up in a spiral, wrapping around her like a cocoon. Ellis shouted her name, but she was already gone, pulled beneath the glowing waves. Then, a blinding flash. The water stilled. The creature screamed a sound that tore through the world. The auroras above burst into a storm of color, and then nothing. The Orpheus floated again, motionless. The city below had gone dark. The sea returned to its calm glow. Ellis stood there, breathing hard, staring into the water where Mara had vanished. For the first time, there was no light on his instruments, no pulse on sonar, just silence. A whispered. She closed it. But as he turned to the dark horizon, a faint golden light flickered once beneath the waves, then again, further away, as if moving deeper into the abyss. And Ellis knew whatever she had done, it wasn't over. Chapter 10. The return. The sea was silent for hours. No one spoke. No one moved. The Orpheus drifted like a ghost, its lights flickering against the endless shimmer of the unknown ocean. Captain Ellis stood at the bow, staring at the spot where Mara had disappeared. The surface looked calm now, but he could still feel a faint vibration in the air, like the echo of her heartbeat trapped in the waves. The crew was broken, exhausted, terrified, but alive. Hayes sat against the railing, his face pale. "Is it over?" he asked quietly. Ellis didn't answer. He wasn't sure. The compass still spun endlessly. The sky above still glowed in colors that didn't belong to any world they knew. But something had changed. The light beneath the surface was fading. slowly dimming to gray. A soft hum began to rise from below the deck. The controls flickered to life on their own. The ship's systems, which had been dead since the crossing, now pulsed with a steady rhythm. Ellis leaned over the console. Every monitor showed the same thing. A single golden symbol, the same one that had been on Mara's wrist. It glowed gently, then dissolved into words that appeared in English across the main screen. Return sequence initiated. The crew looked at each other in disbelief. Hayes muttered, "She's doing this, isn't she?" Ellis nodded slowly. "She said she could close the gate. Maybe she found a way back." The ship began to move without any command. The sea beneath it shimmered again, and the horizon ahead began to twist, a spiral of color opening in the air, the same as the one that had first brought them here. But this time, it wasn't pulling them down. It was pulling them home. As they approached, the air grew colder. The aurora lights dimmed. The sky cracked with lightning that made no sound. Ellis could feel pressure in his chest, as if the ocean itself was breathing through him. Then, for just an instant, he saw Hamara's reflection in the water below. She was standing, eyes closed, surrounded by light. Her face was peaceful. Her lips moved, forming words he could barely hear. "Tell them we were never alone." The vortex widened. The Orpheus plunged forward, swallowed whole by light. Everything vanished. When Ellis opened his eyes, he was lying on a cold steel floor. The sound of gulls echoed above. The air smelled of salt and oil. The ship rocked gently under a gray morning sky. He stumbled to his feet. The bridge was exactly as it had been before the storm, before everything. But the city, the lights, the beings, Tay. "We're gonna..." Hayes appeared beside him, confused. "Captain, are we back?" Ellis looked out at the horizon. Familiar waves, familiar clouds. The coordinates on the screen showed the South Atlantic, near where they had first lost contact. "Yes," he said quietly, "we're home." But even as he spoke, he saw something strange. The ocean around the ship shimmered faintly, just for a second, as if the sunlight bent the wrong way. Then it was gone. The rest of the day passed in a blur. Rescue planes found them hours later. Their transmission logs were empty. Their instruments showed no sign of travel, no evidence of anything that had happened. But Ellis knew, and so did Hayes. Sometimes at night, when the sea was quiet, they both felt it again, a faint vibration, like a pulse beneath the water. 2 weeks later, Ellis was called to a debriefing. The officials asked questions about their malfunction, about lost time. He told them what he could. He told them about the storm, about the light, but not about the gate, not about Mara. When the meeting ended, a man in a dark suit stopped him in the hallway. "No one will believe what you saw, Captain," the man said calmly. "But we've been watching the same signal for years, and it's not gone. It's moving north." Ellis stared at him. "What are you saying?" The man handed him a sealed file. "It's reappearing under the Arctic ice." He turned and walked away. Ellis opened the file. Inside was a satellite image, a glowing ring under miles of frozen sea. And in the corner of the image, faint but unmistakable, a human figure stood beside the light. It was Mara. Her golden eyes looked straight into the camera. The photo was dated 2 days ago. That night, Ellis stood alone on the shore. The wind was sharp. Waves crashed against the rocks. Far out at sea, a faint glimmer appeared beneath the dark water. Just a soft, pulsing light. He whispered into the wind, "You kept your promise." The glow in the distance flickered once, as if answering. Then it faded into the deep, leaving only the sound of the ocean. But for those who listened closely, the sea still whispered, "We were never alone."